I've been a professional singer and singing teacher for the best part of 18 years, and in that time I've come to realise that my specialism and my interest lies in helping people who have dysfunction, problems, issues with their voices that they don't really know how to deal with, and to be able to get them to a point where they're singing really well and with ease and feeling really comfortable with it. I've trained as a personal trainer and also as an applied movement neurology practitioner. What that allows me to do is have a really deep understanding of anatomy, physiology and neurology of the body, and of movement, and of understanding how muscles and connective tissues work together, and how parts of the brain and our neurology influence that. Applied movement neurology is a new paradigm which is kind of changing the way that we're approaching therapy with regards to treating pain, treating movement dysfunction, treating posture, treating flexibility issues, and even treating disease states by asking the client's brain what's going on with the body at any given time. That allows me to work with incredible accuracy to find out what it is that I need to deal with, whether that be a manual therapy, whether that be something which is just a training issue, a practice issue. It's much, much better than my best guess.
I'm feeling like my throat is locking up, and I mean, sometimes it feels like the notes come out fairly easily, but obviously restrictive tone. Sometimes that push turns into, well, a complete lock-up, which will limit my range.
So do you just feel like you're singing from here up, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick has a beautiful tone, but I understand where he's coming from when he says he can't feel his lower body musculature. So the first thing I'm going to do is do some manual muscle tests and just see whether there is a problem there with connection between brain and lower body musculature there. This is an example of an orthopedic manual muscle test. To pass the test, Nick's leg will be able to stay up in the air, meeting my force, and I wouldn't be able to push it back down to the table. That's not happening here. So we can see that there's a disconnect between the brain and the body, which I will need to deal with. So now what I'm doing is I'm just taking a little bit of information from Nick by doing swipes around various areas of muscle and cranium, and using a manual muscle test to give me yes/no answers. And now the muscles are back online. He's meeting my force, no problem. And we're ready to go.
I don't know what you've just done, but it's huge. And I felt it in here, but I was actually feeling like my stomach was turning in knots, especially when you hit me there. All from my jaw. Nighttime sharpens, heightens each sensation.
The biggest changes I'm noticing as a teacher here are that Nick's not working so hard to create a tone. Visually, his face isn't working so hard, and you can just hear that there's a deeper connection to his voice and the lower musculature here, which is really great news. Let's see what Nick has to say about it.
Well, actually, a lot more connection to my abdominal muscles was meant to be going on down there. So obviously, over time and habits, I presume, I've not been engaging as fully as I ought to. So just by getting those muscles online, I'm suddenly feeling what I need to do. So I've released some tension through my neck, which has changed a lot of the space that I'm using to sing in. I'm feeling a lot of other things which, well, they come from something from my childhood, but by unlocking them, I'm feeling that my whole body is working in a completely different way to create the sound. It's feeling easier. For me, it's getting right to the roots of the problems that I'm facing technically, and well, more than just technically, emotionally, I suppose, as well. It's been tackling things where I believe there is possibly a problem, maybe finding something lurking in there, but also actually finding it as part of a bigger picture. And I think that, in a whole sense, has actually allowed me to discover the whole of my instrument today. From my experience, there's probably about 3 or 4 weeks worth minimum of work that we've got through in terms of opening the space in my throat. And with the AMN approach, it's sort of plugging into a whole different understanding, so I know exactly what I'm feeling, rather than feeling like something's a bit different. Yeah, you have to witness it to understand it, don't you?